again and welcome to the Saturated Industry Podcast. I am Danny.
And I'm Steve.
And we are doing Guardians of the Galaxy this week. Well, also this week, today. Yeah. We're doing two movies this week because we're going to go see Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and Thor Ragnarok in IMAX next week.
Yeah, and then, like a double feature.
Yeah, and then I guess record those episodes because we love doing this. Can't you tell from our voices? Guardians of the Galaxy. I feel like this is going to be a short one for very different reasons to Thor: The Dark World.
Yes.
In that this is a very simple movie that is just very good. It's just so much fun to watch.
Yeah, this is one of the ones like Winter Soldier for me. This is one of the ones where I knew exactly how good it was going in. Yeah. I hadn't forgotten how good a movie it is. I knew exactly what I was going to get out of it. Yeah,
it's a real. Now that we're just watching them one a week, I feel like we're actually. This is like the sophomore year, you know, like they had their freshmen, the first movies, they were kind of finding their feet. They didn't really know where exactly they wanted to take these characters, and so they had to leave as many avenues open as possible, which made the movies suffer a little bit.
Yeah.
But now they have surety. They've graduated, and they sort of have
a trajectory now.
Yeah, and so the movies are a lot more confident.
Yeah.
Especially this one because
yes.
Jesus, like it's another one of those things where it's really hard to remember that there were no Marvel movies 15 years ago.
Yeah.
There were none.
No one knew anything of it.
Yeah, nobody had heard of the Avengers. Nobody had heard of Guardians of the Galaxy. These were not famous characters.
I still remember when they Guardians of the Galaxy was first coming out and coming into everyone's knowledge. And it's like a character is a raccoon, one of them's a tree. Yeah. Who are these people?
And then the only human character is played by that guy from Parks and Recreation because Chris Pratt 5 years ago was just that guy, you know? He was a great character in Parks and Recreation, but nobody thought that he was going to be fucking Star-Lord.
A little bit overweight, but great at ad-libbing.
Yeah. And then a wrestler, a former WWE, Dwayne Johnson,
who had no acting chops.
Yeah, no acting whatsoever. I know Dwayne Johnson made it work, but Dave Bautista, really, I did not see that working. But for this character, he was absolutely perfect.
Yeah, this character works pretty good.
It kind of required somebody who couldn't act.
Yeah, and going forward, having seen him in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and in other movies, Blade Runner, he's got some skill there in acting.
Yeah, well, I was reading the trivia thing about Guardians of the Galaxy, and he said he basically broke down in tears and was so overwhelmed that he got the job as a Marvel comic book hero, and immediately started working with an acting coach. So that to me, I think that's the first time. This is his first job.
Yeah, this is his first job.
And he didn't even start. A little short-sighted. I mean, I think he did a good job, but it's weird that he didn't even start learning to act until he got the job first.
Yeah.
I wonder how many actors are resentful of Dave Bautista that he got his first job before even learning how to do the job.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's just a really good movie, and a really good movie. No such thing as a good movie, but I really like this movie, and I think what I like most about it is how simple it is. It's just there's no major kind of plot holes. It is a kind of the galaxy is going to end thing, but it never feels like the scale never feels overwhelming because they always keep it very focused on what these people are doing.
Yeah,
you know? Yeah. And every action that everybody takes, even though they are technically saving the galaxy, every action that everybody takes, you can see their personal motivations throughout. For the whole, the first sort of act, maybe even the first two acts, everybody is working out of pure self-interest.
Yeah, it's all just I gotta get out of here. You guys can help me get out of here. We gotta go sell this so we can become rich. I'm gonna sell this. Yeah,
we can all become rich. And you're my bounty. I'm gonna take care of him, but only so long as I can get him to the place. Oh, you can offer me more money than your bounty. Well, then fine. Yeah. Then we'll help you get to there.
You can bring me here so I can kill this person.
I can kill this guy. It's and then we'll get there, and you guys want to sell that thing. I don't care about money. I want to kill Ronan, so I'm going to call Ronan here to the place where we're trying to sell the most dangerous thing in the universe.
And fight his giant spaceship gang with knives.
Badly. God, it does not go well for him. But anyway, let's rewind. I asked you when the movie started, is this the first time they've had a cold open? Something that preceded the Marvel logo?
Yeah, so I think it is.
Because I don't remember another Marvel movie having something like this. Maybe it's something I do all the time and I'm just not remembering. But it just feels like whenever I watch a Marvel movie, I'm so used to hearing the Marvel music.
Yeah.
But in this one, you hear that song, one of the many songs from the 70s in this movie, and then it opens on just pure tragedy.
Yeah.
No jokes.
It's real serious and real sad.
And a real sort of not not like a real sad sort of comic book moment. It's a real sad, like, everyone dies,
Yeah.
everyone's mom dies, and nobody wants to deal with death. It's like the one thing that nobody ever talks about, but death is fucking scary to everybody, and nobody wants to deal with it. And like, there's just this scene of little Peter Quill being brought in to see that thing of like, there's adults everywhere, and you're being brought.
The only kid.
Yeah, and he's being brought in to see his mom, who looks ghoulish. She looks scary, you know, like it's
sunken, bald.
Yeah, and it's just like a monster, like, and it's weird. It's kind of, there was a movie, The Canker Man. It's like a horror movie that came out recently. It was about like this kid who, I'm going to spoil that movie for you, so if you don't want that movie spoiled, don't listen for the next couple minutes. But anyway, it's about this kid who, throughout the movie, he gets adopted by this family, and he has these dreams that kind of come to life, but and they're really nice for the most part. But then whenever he's like stressed out, this being called the Canker Man appears and like terrorizes people and like can absorb people and eat them and whatnot, and then they become the Canker Man. And then later in the movie, you find out that his mom, like, he was adopted after his mom died, and his mom died of cancer, and he was so young that he read on the form what the cause of death was, and it was canker, and so he created this in his mind, and also he had powers, I guess. But anyway, so it reminded me of that, of like, he walks in and this isn't his mom anymore. Like, you never actually get to see what his mom used to look like until the next movie. But you walk in, you immediately go like, that's not, like, you feel what he's feeling, like, that's not my mom. And he doesn't want to touch her, and that's the thing, like, she reaches out a hand, and you can totally, you know, when you're a kid and you don't realize the significance of any moments, and this is the last chance he has to, like, say goodbye to his mom. She's reaching out and he's like, no, that's scary, I don't want to, and then she's gone. And he freaks the fuck out, runs out of the building, and is abducted by Yondu. Jesus Christ, no jokes, like nothing, no quip. They don't try to like sugarcoat it. It's just fucking tragedy. And then cut to the start of the movie.
So then we get the Marvel intro. And I think that the Marvel intro serves as like a separation between this tragic like scene and then the rest of the movie, which has some emotional scenes in it, but by and large it is just pure comedy.
It's a lot of fun. But it's a lot of fun with like, it's played, it's so light, like, it's played so light and everybody's having such a good time, but like, if you stop and think about these characters, Drax's family was killed, and he's on a like suicidal quest, murdered in front of him by a man who was laughing, and he's on a suicidal quest for revenge. Gamora's family was killed. She was taken and tortured and mutilated and modified and turned into and then forced to work for the man who killed her family. Rocket is a victim of
it's a genetic experiment,
animal experimentation and stuff like that, and he's had all this stuff grafted on him. You get like these couple of scenes. He never really goes into what happened to him, but you get a couple of scenes where you see he's got like parts on his back, and they look raw, like maybe they still even hurt now. Groot seems fine. he's a tree. He's a tree.
I imagine he's like the last of his kind or something, because no one knows what he is. Everyone's like, what the hell is that? Even the collector's like, what are you?
And then Peter was like taken in.
We've seen Peter's past.
We've seen Peter's past, but then also Peter grew up. Like it cuts to like 27 years later. It's a long time that he spends in this new life. But he grew up on a ship full of people who, like, alternatively, like, didn't want him there or wanted to eat him. And
space pirates.
Space pirate cannibals.
Mercenaries.
And Yondu, who, in this movie, I just thought he was kind of a fun side character. He had weird. I'm not sure what his motivations are.
It like like not counting what happens in the second one, even in this film, I get that Yondu's sort of like the surrogate father for Peter.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So it's like he just wants to bring Peter back in, but he does like he can't. He has to like play it off in a way that the crew is happy and that he gets Peter back and things like that.
And he needs Peter to toe the line. Like he like Peter obviously doesn't have what it takes to be a Ravager. But Yondu doesn't want to let him go. And so he kind of like engineers a lot of ways to try and bring him back in the fold, but it's not going to work. And it's fine for this movie. It becomes, once you see the second movie, it becomes so much more. Because there's a couple of conversations where they're like, we should have left him with his dad. He's like, nah, that guy was a jackass. His dad was going to fucking kill him, you know? And they I don't know if that was, like, they kind of, you know, James Gunn read his original script and then went to the next script and said, okay, I've got to make this make sense. Or if it just happened to work out that way. But it really adds a lot. It enriches the character a lot to know that he kind of saved his life. Didn't even tell anybody about it. The crew didn't know about Ego. They were just like, we just send him kids sometimes. He gives us money. So why do we stop doing that, boss? You know. And also that the next movie is still about the Guardians of the Galaxy, but this movie plants the seed of Yondu's demise, which is like he kind of like he shows Peter so much mercy so many times that by the next movie there's a mutiny. They're like, no, we are pirates. You get that, right? And Yondu's clearly lost his like lust for it. He doesn't want to be a pirate. He actually kind of wants to be more like Peter. Yeah. And by the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 2, he is more like Peter. He's fucking Mary Poppins, bitch. But yeah. Then we cut to the actual start of the movie, which is Peter is a pirate, like a looter, kind of an Indiana Jones type.
Yeah. So he's working a job that Yondu, like him and Yondu were supposed to work on.
Yeah.
But he went there first to like snatch it out in front of Yondu. And we get like a great intro to what Peter's like now.
Yeah.
Because he's on his own, he's doing his own thing, he puts on his music and he starts dancing, having fun. No one's around him, so we get to see him like uninhibited basically. Which is a nice, like, we get to see like he's just enjoying what he's doing.
Yeah, ruthless murder.
Yeah, and we get an amazing title card for the movie in this scene. It just like pops up.
Yeah. And they started, like, this movie actually introduced a lot of what we're now seeing a lot in Marvel, which is like play around a bit, you know, don't be so fucking set in your ways. But yeah, that title card was absolutely awesome.
I remember seeing it in the cinema, and it's like a really wide shot, and Peter's down like the bottom left, and then just yellow.
and he's dancing in such a way, it's like, look at the title! Yeah. But yeah, as well as that though, so we see Peter on his own. I have two things about this. One, he has his ship called the Milano, which has 5 seats in the cockpit. So he's got a ship that's designed to be crewed by a crew, you know, it's designed to have like a captain, a pilot, a co-pilot, but he flies it alone, which it's subtle, but it says something about Peter.
Yeah.
And then he is a ruthless murderer because he shoots Jimon Hansu, I can't remember what the character's name is.
I can't remember either.
The guy with the augmetic thing on his head. Like, he shoots him. Well, first of all, he kills those two guys.
Yeah, he rolls his light grenade back at them.
Yeah, which like at least knocks them out. And then he takes out 2 guns and shoots that guy, turns around as if that's dealt with.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, a real like Han Solo shot first, do what's necessary to survive vibe here.
Yeah, and then he like turns around, he thinks that's dealt with, and when he turns back, he's like, "What? He's alive?
Yeah,
that's crazy." Which just kind of, it's weird. It's the same thing as, you know, the retconning of Han shooting first, where it's you can be a hero and be a murderer, but it's weird because in Star Wars, like, Han Solo to me is definitely not as like fun as Peter Quill.
Yeah.
You know. I buy him being a murderer, you know, or just being kind of cold about if I have to kill somebody, I'm just gonna fucking kill him. I don't give a shit. But Peter, it's weird to me because the more you learn about him in the movie, the more he seems softer, you know. Like he's got a gooey center, and it's weird that one of the very first things you see him do
is shoot a guy. I mean, the guy did have a gun drawn on him.
Yeah.
But he still shoots him.
Yeah, and kind of. It's not just that he shoots him. He shoots him and then immediately puts his guns away. That's fine.
He's like the Necro Warriors are like, come on, and he's like, to hell with this. Rolls his grenade back and shoots him.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's it. I'm done now. I'm leaving.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just a weird attitude, but it's cool, and I guess that's what's important.
Yeah.
Also, when he's scavenging the planet to begin with, or trying to find the orb that he's looking for, and he's got this crazy
the scanner.
Hollow. You know,
the scanner that shows people from way in the past.
From the past, I assume, yeah. Like, it's like a chrono-holographic tricorder where he just like looks at a place through it, and it shows him what people used to do in that place or something.
Like, how does it work? Why does it work?
Yeah. Does he choose the year?
A specific time.
It's not important, but I just wonder what was the genesis of that. Like, who came up with that technology and what utility did they see it having?
Why did they see the need to put people in, not just show like what the buildings used to look like or something like that?
It's weird. It's like just an extra layer of sadness to this planet that was clearly destroyed. I assume destroyed by the Power Stone at some point in its past.
Yeah, that's I guess what you're meant to think. The only other thing I can think of is that it was destroyed by an unrelated reason, and because of that, people forgot the Power Stone was there.
Okay.
Because they seemed to. It was in a sort of vault that Peter had to break into, like say on Xandar with the where they put the Power Stone at the end. It's in a vault.
Okay, that makes sense. And then, so he gets he gets in the fight, but he gets away obviously because it's the start of the movie. He's not going to die.
Yeah.
And puts his tape, takes his tape out of the thing, puts it in the machine. Now, I'm fine with the Walkman. He finds batteries and he fixes it with his own 2 hands. Sure, that could last forever. Magnetic tapes degrade, right? over
I
time.
guess so, yeah.
Like I remember owning tapes for several years, and the more you play them, the worse the music sounds over time. And like it's like it gets worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
So it's just weird to me that the tape lasted as long as it did.
Yeah.
Not important, just something I wanted to point out. I wrote it down just as like what's going on? Can tapes last forever in this galaxy?
Yeah. This is also, we get the girl that's on his ship answers Yondu's telephone call, and Peter's like, no. And then we get sort of like their first interaction where Yondu keeps like, when I first brought you on board, these
they wanted to eat you.
And Peter's like, they want to fucking eat me. You weren't going to eat me.
And then also, not eating someone, that's the baseline. You don't get credit for not eating a person.
And so we get to see a nice like interaction there. It feels like they've had this conversation 1,000 times already.
Sure. And also, it's ironically he's right. He's like, we're Ravagers. We have a code. Yeah, our code is steal from everyone. He is actually behaving the way I come to understand the Ravagers are supposed to behave.
Yeah.
Just I don't know. He's sort of undermining Yondu, and Yondu has this. It's odd because the Yondu character becomes so pivotal to the entire the 2-story arc because he's undermining Yondu, which is making Yondu look weak, and Yondu should just cut the cord.
Yeah.
And it's weird because throughout this whole movie you're kind of wondering, why don't you just cut the cord? It's like even when he's like, no, we have to airlock, and he's like made a decision towards the end of the movie. He's like, no, that's it. He thinks it over in his head. He's like, no, I have to kill you. Like this, I can't let this go on. And he like gives it a few more seconds for Peter to come up with something.
He definitely gives Peter that time. It's like,
and then you see he has this smile of relief on his face, like.
I knew you still
I knew you'd come up with something.
Yeah.
It's really nice. It's nice. It's an interesting relationship.
Yeah.
And then when they get to
Xandar,
they have the fucking awesome like open of an RPG type chaos fight scene where all the main characters meet each other, but they're at loggerheads.
Yeah.
Like, meet each other as adversaries.
So we get introduced to everyone here. So Gamora and Nebula and not Drax, yeah, but everyone but Drax. So Gamora and Nebula are like
arguing over who should get to go.
Yeah, who should get to go, and Ronan, like, Gamora sort of manipulates Ronan into sending her.
Because Nebula comes across a little bit too crazy all the time.
But crazy and angry.
And she looks so fucking cool.
Yeah.
I think it's a shame that Nebula isn't a more central character because she's the coolest looking person in the whole movie.
Yeah.
Like
by far.
Because you can see she actually looks. I don't know how they did it. Is it makeup? Is it prosthetics? Is it like a mask? But it really looks like she's made of different parts.
Yeah.
And then when she gets fucked up by like they shoot a rocket at her or something, and her body's all like rejoining back together.
And then her like jaw like clinks into place.
She's the coolest fucking character. And also the way that what's her name, like Lily James or something?
Karen Gillan.
Karen Gillan. The way she plays it, like just pure anger all the time. Like
it's great. I still remember seeing I think it was at like Comic-Con when they were showing the first trailer or whatever, and they had all the cast there. And she's just said, I think I may have done something crazy for this movie. And I was like, oh, what the hell? And she takes off her wig, and she's actually bald.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she shaved her head to shoot the movie.
Wow.
And like, the crowd goes crazy.
Jesus, then that's even more than she deserves to be more central. But yeah.
Then she threw her wig into the crowd and was like, oh no, wait, I need that.
Oh, what a character. But yeah, so they argue over who should get to go on this mission. Gamora wins.
Yeah, so first we get the introduction to Ronan, the Accuser.
Yeah.
Where he comes out of like the ground and there's this crazy religious
they're
ceremony.
Like pouring hot oils on him or something.
Yeah, and then like smearing black paste.
War paint or something, yeah.
And he puts on like some sort of crazy
huge cowl.
Yeah, metallic cowl, and he's got a war hammer. And he's like, it's very grand and grandiose, given Lee Pace, and is filling the role basically.
Yeah, no, he's great at it. Like for another nothing villain, like I would say he has as much to do with the plot of this movie as David Tennant as Malekith in Thor: The Dark World.
Christopher Eccleston,
the other Doctor. Yeah, I'd say he has as much to do, like as much importance to the plot and as much characterization as Malekith, but Lee Pace just fills it, you know.
Yeah, like, so it's like. It's a role that doesn't have a lot in it, but Lee Pace does a lot with what he's given. Yeah,
he surpasses the role. Like I like him. I don't like the character. I don't really get his motivations. I don't really like
He's
an extremist for a war between two planets we've never heard of before
that are now at peace.
Yeah, and he doesn't have any other Kree around him. All of the people working for him are mercenaries or something.
Like these necro soldiers. I don't know. They like
plus the black guy with the head augmetic, like
and two of Thanos' daughters.
Well, Thanos lent him his daughters.
Yeah,
because
to get the stone.
Right.
Yeah, but that's like his crew.
Yeah,
or his army. And his giant spaceship, the Dark Aster.
Incredibly large spaceship. That's
a great name.
If terrorists in our world were as well equipped as he is, I don't think America would win that war. But yeah, so he gets his like introduction, and then the close of his introduction is he smashes a guy's head, and then the blood runs down these channels
into this pool that he came out of.
So it's just filled with the blood of his enemies, literally.
I guess so.
That's pretty fucking gnarly, Jesus, dude.
He's like he's a very over the top villain, but it somehow works. Just about works for me in this film.
Lee Pace is a good actor. He elevates it.
Yeah, and then we get the RPG.
Yeah,
crazy chase fight scene.
Yeah, we get like Rocket and Groot are just chilling on Xandar, sort of opportunistically. They have like
hunting bounties.
Yeah, they have a thing that just like tells them if anybody they're looking at has a bounty on them.
Yeah,
and they happen upon Peter Quill, who's got like 40,000 unit bounty, and so they go after him. But Gamora is sort of already on him.
Yeah, and she wants the stone.
Yeah, and they all sort of intersect, like all of their tangents intertwine in the same moment, and then they just have this cool. Like lots of verticality, like they're all kind of going up and down, and chasing each other around.
There's a nice moment in this where Gamora like has taken the stone once, and then Peter got it back, and then she's like on top of him again. It's like I didn't want to do this, and she takes out a sword and is gonna kill him.
Yeah.
But then Groot stops her or something.
No, she was like, you should have learned, and he's like, I did, or I don't learn, or whatever.
No, there was that was like I think the first time was Groot gets her.
Oh, okay.
Or the time when she's gonna stab him is when Groot pulls her off or something. But she was gonna kill him because he kept.
She also kills Groot, or she thinks she's killed Groot because she chops off his arms and then like sticks it in his stomach, and then like turns away. Same as Peter at the start with that guy, just turns away like I've taken care of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Groot can't be killed in such meager ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like it introduces them really well because. Groot sort of isn't a fighter whatsoever. He has incredible strength.
Yeah.
But like he's not...
He's a monster, as we find out later. He is a vicious monster when he needs to be. But most of the time he's just like...
Not even paying attention.
Yeah.
He's just enjoying the world around him. Like, and Peter is sort of... Like he has no training whatsoever, but he's wily, you know? Like he figures it out. He just like works in the moment. Whereas Gamora is like pure, brutal... I spent my entire life training
the living weapon, Gamora.
And then Rocket is, I just love shooting people. The bigger the gun, the better. And then they all sort of get caught by the Xandar police.
Yeah, the Nova Corps.
The Nova Corps, and we get introduced to John C. Reilly, who for me, John C. Reilly and Peter Serafinowicz single-handedly make me care what happens to Xandar in the Nova Corps.
Yeah.
Like, John C. Reilly to me is, like... and he's supposed to be.
Yeah, like, that's the point of his character.
He represents all of Xandar, and then Peter Serafinowicz, when he's in like the ship at the end, he represents the Nova Corps. Like, it's the only reason I cared that their like crazy laser hold him in the sky grid failed was because Peter Serafinowicz dies screaming rocket, and then the only reason I cared that they were like dive bombing the city is because what's his name was gone home to like was trying to get to his wife and kid. Like but they do it so well. Like I love he's. Hey, don't I know you? Star Prince. It's like Star Lord. Oh, that's cool to have a code name, man. Like, he just loves it. He loves his job.
Yeah.
Which is it's rare to see in law enforcement. But yeah, they all get like sent to like basically they get summarily sent to prison. Like they have a lineup, and then Peter Serafinowicz is like send them all to kill him.
Yeah,
you know?
Which is not just like prison because like Xandar seems.
Civilized,
yeah. It seems not a terrible place to live. And then they send him to the kiln, which is like the worst prison.
Yeah, the guards don't care what happens. They're just there to stop everybody from escaping.
It seems the place where you'd send really bad people, which I guess
it's like the
Gamora
Arkham.
Is.
Well, yeah, okay. But then again...
That's what the galaxy perceives Gamora as being.
But also, surely everybody understands Gamora... has no choice but to do what she's doing, you know? Like, not everybody. Okay, so it's hard, like, for ground level people to understand it.
They just see a weapon that's sent on missions and completes those missions.
Yeah. Like, I wonder, will that pay off? Because they didn't need to do that, you know. Like
that
Nebula,
she's a daughter of Thanos.
yeah, like Nebula doesn't seem to have been super important to the overarching plot, except for that she's always gunning for Gamora. She hates Gamora. She wants to kill Gamora, so she's sort of just a foil for Gamora.
Yeah, that she's Gamora's mirror, basically.
Yeah, but it's like I just wondered the fact that they went through the rigmarole of like that scene where Ronan gets caught, like it's summoned to Thanos to like get the dressing down, and he breaks the Watcher's, or not the Watcher, the other's neck, and Nebula's like, So Nebula is also interested in attaching herself to someone else who might be able to best Thanos.
Yeah, because Nebula hates Thanos.
Yeah, so they both hate Thanos, and I'm just wondering, is that going to come full circle in Infinity War, that they will like band together to try and take down Thanos? Like I know everybody's going to have to band together.
It has to.
But like personally, because the thing is, somebody, some specific person has to kill Thanos. Not everybody, one person.
Yeah.
Like it's
Unless
not gonna...
they do everybody shoot at him.
Yeah, but somebody has to like finish him.
Yeah,
like there has to be a
blow.
fatality, you know. And I'm just curious because like we've been talking about in all the movies up to now, Thanos doesn't exist yet. Like he's not really a part of the.
Yeah, this is the first movie where he actually talks.
Yeah, says something. Kind of, I don't like his. He kind of. I think they should. I think maybe they shouldn't have actually. Ironic because I keep saying they should introduce him, but like his introduction in this kind of defined him a bit for me.
Yeah.
Because he just doesn't seem scary.
He doesn't do anything. He sits in his chair and gives Ronan a talking down, and then Ronan just goes off and does his own thing anyway.
Yeah.
Which makes me. And the only time we ever see Thanos is when he's in the sanctuary.
Yeah.
And it makes me think that something
is keeping him there.
He can't leave or can't affect the universe at large by himself, and so that's why he's acting through all these different agents.
There's a later movie though where it might be Age of Ultron, one of the final scenes, one of the post-credit scenes is him putting on the gauntlet and saying, well, I guess I'll do it myself.
Maybe, yeah.
And that's actually when he has no stones. He had the Mind Stone, which he gave to Loki and is gone, so that's when he has no stones. He's like, well, I guess I'll just put this gauntlet on and see what I can do. And he's talked about as the most powerful being in the universe.
That's what's said by the second in command of Ronan here. In this movie, he says,
"Yeah,
but you can't do it.
Yeah,
Thanos is the most powerful being in the universe.
Not anymore." Like it's, I don't know. It's weird. Like they talked him up so much, and then all he does is kind of sit in his chair and keep calling Ronan boy, like to try and piss him off. But it just doesn't. There's something wrong with the delivery. It doesn't come across real well.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from there. It's a lot of we're told how amazing he is. We haven't seen how amazing he is.
Yeah. Maybe it's as simple as that. We just need some more. We just need some actual show instead of tell.
Which I imagine is the entire of Infinity War is just going to be him wrecking face.
Yeah,
and it's going to finish with him winning and our heroes on the back foot, probably with many people dead or at least one person dead.
I mean, there's like 70 heroes. A few of them gotta die.
Yeah,
you know?
And that'll lead into the next Infinity War the following year.
Yeah. Anyway, I wonder what will become of. So like just to go back to what I was saying, since he doesn't exist in the story for anyone, except Nebula and Gamora.
Yeah.
To me, they're the only people who should kill him. Like who should have the actual killing stroke. So at the moment, like so. Obviously, he's going to arrive on Earth. He's going to fuck up some people's day, and maybe he'll make it personal with somebody somehow.
Yeah.
My money is on he'll either kill Cap and then Iron Man will take him down, or he'll kill Iron Man and Cap will take him down. Like, that seems like the obvious choice. But
or how even like Agent 13 or
Sharon, maybe.
But I think Cap. I
would prefer not. I would prefer if Cap didn't kill him because he was avenging his girlfriend, since his girlfriend is his ex-girlfriend's grandniece.
I think it's gonna be Cap or Iron Man.
But so they don't spend long in prison.
Nope. Rocket was right on that point.
Like they were
gonna get out.
Yeah, and as he's explaining the plan, Groot hears a snippet of it, immediately goes to do that thing because he's like, I can do that, and then the plan is initiated, and they escape, and it's just
that scene is brilliant.
It is so effortlessly funny. It is every part of it is hilarious, but no part of it is played for laughs. They're literally just trying to do the best that they can. They're trying to make the best of, he's already pulled the battery, we've got to try and get out of here now, and everything they have to do to get out is hilarious. But they're literally just fighting for their lives. I don't know how he did it. Like, it's so funny.
It is.
The only part, like, it kind of gets better. I guess it's just James Gunn's sense of humor. I don't have that sense of humor, but like, so I would imagine he wrote on paper, Rocket is going to ask him to take the leg, and then he's not going to need the leg, and that's going to be a joke. And then, like, I'll see how I feel about that. And so he read that script, because, you know, pre-production's like a year and a half. So he, like, read it, like, no, and it got funnier and funnier every time. And every time I watch the movie, it gets funnier and funnier. That, like, in all of this, Rocket still demanded, you get me that leg, because it's going to be funny. He was hopping around. Was it funny? I thought it would be funny. And also Rocket, oh my god, like, Bradley Cooper... Bradley Cooper is someone I didn't really rate as an actor. He's fine. Like, he makes sense in The Hangover and all those, like, as a kind of generic comedy or action guy. But, like, he's unbelievable as Rocket. Like, on
this watching of the movie, he, like, far outshone nearly anyone else, basically, for me. Just, he pulled every scene together. He brought so much charisma. He brought so much comedy and, like, so much emotion later on in some other scenes. But it really, really worked for me in this film.
And he did it all in a booth. Like, it's really hard to kind of visualize the fact that when they're on screen, there's only like two humans on set. You know what I mean? Like, when they're talking to Rocket and Groot, there's no Rocket and Groot. Like,
there might be like a tennis ball on a stick.
Yeah.
Or someone dressed in a green suit.
Or like,
I
saw a video of like Vin Diesel walking around on stilts, but it wasn't on set. He used to do that in the recording booth. He would walk around so he'd feel like Groot. And then, like, he recorded the words "I am Groot" 1,000 times just for this movie, and then he recorded it like 1,000 more times in Spanish, Russian, German, Swedish, like, just all the other languages in his own voice, so that in every incarnation of the movie it would be his voice, like, which is an incredibly sweet thing to do.
It's possible when you only have 4 words to say.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I just, like, it doesn't sound like Bradley Cooper at all, and he somehow manages to strike the perfect balance between, like, just an out of control crazy little cynical raccoon who's just obsessed with guns, and like a really hurt, broken little puppy dog who just wants someone, like, he wants someone to take care of him, but he can't let anybody take care. So like his compromise is Groot, who he doesn't really consider as someone. Groot is just this thing, and he's a thing, so it's okay. Like, they have this like great camaraderie. But then at the end, when like he's completely dejected about Groot, and Drax, just not even thinking about it, just starts petting him, because that's what you do when an animal's sad. You pet them. Every animal, doesn't matter. You just pet them, and his tail moves a little bit, and you're like, that's all he ever needed. There's a little bit of comfort, and the reason that works is because of that scene earlier where they were like literally right about to kill each other. Like, he pulled a gun on Drax because Drax was calling him a little monster, a gremlin or a beast or whatever.
Yeah, everybody's been calling him like rodent, gremlin, monster,
and just not even thinking, because like, why would you? It's a raccoon. Like, that's what he is. He's vermin. And he's like, he's accepted that. Everybody calls me that. But then, like, he gets a bit loose, he gets a bit drunk, and he's like, none of you even think about it. Like, I'm a person, I have a personality, I think, I'm sentient, and you're all just insulting me as a matter of course. Yeah, it's just like normal for you. I really liked just like his, like, it's crazy that for me, the like one of the most emotionally gripping characters in this movie is a raccoon. But it's all down to Bradley Cooper. Like, Jesus Christ, what an incredible performance to do in an empty room alone. Like, into a microphone. Like, Jesus Christ. Yeah. I guess that's his specialty. But yeah, that's the thing about, like, so you were saying this movie's very light. It's very kind of fun and it's pure comedy.
Yeah, the quip density of this movie is through the roof, but it still works.
Yeah, but also there's so much sadness. It's weird how much sadness is in this movie. Yeah. Like, how sad all of the characters are about various things, and how, like, broken they are as individuals. They can't really relate to each other. It takes
literally like a band of misfits.
Yeah, and led by Peter Quill, who, like, there's when they escape the prison, and they
Peter pulls them all together for this, because Peter's like, he saves Gamora, he goes to save Gamora from Drax, but she saves herself. Yeah, and then he talks to her and being like, no, we're gonna get out because of Rocket. Yeah, and then Rocket, you're not gonna hand me over because of Gamora, and we're all gonna get out together, and then we can all go our separate ways.
Yeah, but with a quick pit stop for me to get my Walkman back. Yeah. And so they all decide, they all go, basically he was supposed to give this orb to the broker who was going to sell it to the collector. They're like, let's just go to the collector. And so they go to the collector. And they like the collector won't see them right away, and so we get this kind of slowdown moment where everybody gets to sort of chill for a second.
Yeah, we get a great answer cut here, where Drax is like, "We have to wait. Well, what are we going to do now in this disreputable establishment?" And then they drinking and gambling.
Yes, my little beast wins as I win at all things.
And we get to see them drunk and having fun, which leads into them getting too drunk.
Yeah. So that's it's like we see him, Groot, and Rocket having like drinking and having a great time, and then it cuts to Peter essentially immediately trying to seduce Gamora.
He's been trying to seduce her since he first saw her.
I guess so, but like this is kind of
his earnest attempt.
He wastes no time, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. This is like his proper earnest attempt. The other attempts are just like, you know, flirty banter.
But he moves in on her. He tells her the Kevin Bacon story, and he's like, she asks him, like, why would you go back for this? It plays music? Okay, that's great. Like, why would you risk your life for it? And he tries to tell her that this was all, like, my mom, like, he can't say it. Like, he can't, like, this was basically what I had on me the day that, and then he trails off. And he tries to think of another way to say it, and he trails off, and he's like, the day I left Earth. But he can't even say the words, my mom died. Like, this is 27 years later, so he's like, let's say he was 8 or
8 or 10 or something.
Like, he's in his 30s.
Yeah.
Like, this is the word trauma that he literally has been holding on to his entire adult life. Like, and he cannot come to terms with it. And it's like, it's also something the movie goes into. It's actually something that the second movie goes into a lot.
Yeah.
When, like, he makes the connection that Ego actually killed his mom. And laughed while he did it, like, didn't give a shit about it.
Yeah.
And then you could see he had galaxies in his eyes that sort of fade away, and you see the tears in his eyes, and he's like, I'm gonna fucking murder my dad to death now.
Yeah.
Like, this is something that he's been holding on to his whole life, and it's such a crucial part of this movie, but for some reason, like, it doesn't drag it down, you know? Like, it doesn't. He's like a terribly sad, dejected individual who's been holding on to this trauma his entire adult life, to the point that he can't even talk about it. But somehow this movie gets that information into you without bringing the tone down whatsoever, because 10 seconds later we get the incredible, undisputed champion of one-liners. I will not succumb to you and your pelvic sorcery. Like,
that is a great line.
And
she yells it too because she's got the headphones on.
And it's an example, like in we were talking about in Winter Soldier, they found that perfect balance between serious moments and quips, that where you can put in a quip that doesn't just
doesn't
torpedo the dramatic moment. This is another movie that like has that balance perfectly, where it's full of these dramatic moments that don't kind of drag it down enough that when the quip hits, it's like jarring or something. Kind of feel everything is on an even keel at all times. Yeah, which is, I don't know, it's like a crazy plate spinning act, like to pull that off, because there's actually, I know I keep trying to say it, but I want to get across, for such a funny movie, it's just like a tremendous amount of sadness here. Yeah, which I think
literally
is what
the next scene after that scene with Peter and Gamora is the Rocket Raccoon letting loose at everybody, yelling at them because they're treating him horribly, and then Quill's just like, no, 4 billion units. We've been treating you badly. Just hold out, and you'll be fucking rich, and you don't have to deal with us ever again.
So, like, number one, they're in a room full of disreputable people. That's a dangerous thing to be saying.
Yeah, like 4 billion units.
Yeah. And number two, that's another example of just when you think these people are like finding connections and like, you know, they're in this together. No. Rocket, self-interest. Remember, self-interest. Everybody, self-interest. There's something in this for you personally. Yeah. So don't worry about all of your, you know, internecine bullshit. We're all gonna make out like bandits on this, and that's Peter's still. That's everybody's like MO still. Yeah. Like that. I'm gonna make out on this, so fine. Yeah. We'll toe the line for now. Except Drax, because he didn't give a shit about money.
Yeah, and this is where because he doesn't give a shit about money, he just goes off and calls Ronan. Yeah. Because he's like, this is taking too long.
Come get me, bro.
I'm gonna invite Ronan here because I know he wants this thing, and then I'm gonna try and kill him.
Yep. And so while they're in there meeting Benicio del Toro, oh my god, Benicio del Toro. Beautiful. Like, Benicio del Toro has no off switch. He's either on or he's not on set. Like, Jesus Christ. I
like how they made Rocket make fun of him.
Yeah. I wonder what it's like to be Benicio del Toro, because it's not just this movie. Like
every movie.
Every movie he's in, he's so bizarre and so intense.
And just like, I guess when you're hiring Benicio del Toro, you're like,
that's what you're going for.
Something weird is going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but it's going to go in the movie.
No, but the thing is, I think he's like totally, like everything he does is completely. What's the word when you think about things in advance?
I don't know.
Planned, because he, like, have you seen Sicario?
Yes, but I can't remember it.
Well, he doesn't do that. Like, he's still really intense and really intimidating and scary and has an incredible amount of energy on screen. But none of his dialogue is weird. He delivers it totally normally. He's like plays basically a classic psychopath in the movie. He's no compunction whatsoever. And he still has that, like, I think he just has this energy. Like, I guess some people just have it, you know? When he's on screen, there's this, like, bristling field of energy around him.
Yeah.
But when given the chance, when he's put in Star Wars and when he's put in a Marvel movie, he's like, okay, let's go. He's fucking incredible.
Yeah.
Like, for a character that has a couple of lines,
so
most of which are pure exposition about the Infinity Stones, because this is where we find out.
Yeah, this is where you find out like where they came from, what they do, and everything like that. And it's all from him. And this is like, I think, the second time we've heard the term Infinity Stones. First being from the Merry Men from Thor Ragnarok, when they're like, we already have the Tesseract.
Well, not Ragnarok, it'd be...
Dark World. We already have the Tesseract. It's not great to have two Infinity Stones so close together.
Oh, okay. Oh, because the Ether, right, yeah. Yeah, and he already has the Ether. And they're trying to sell him the Power Stone.
Yeah.
And so this is, I guess... I wonder what they were going to do if the Guardians didn't work. Because this is where we sort of find out what that guy from the end of Avengers is planning. Like, where the Collector lays out, if anybody were to collect all 6 of these stones,
they could do anything.
Like, they'd be unstoppable.
Yeah, I mean, we get to see scenes of like a giant Titan-like creature with a giant staff with the Power Stone in it, destroy an entire planet.
And he makes the point that you need to be a being of power like that in order to wield the stone, because like anybody at our level, even 6 people at our level.
Yeah, so he said even like a group of however many people managed to share it for just a second, and then they all got vaporized.
Yeah, that was probably the weakest part, because that was very clearly... if a group, I don't know, of, let's say, Guardians, I don't know, maybe you could hold it for long enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's... So, yeah, they unfortunately, and this is sort of a... What's the word? Like when you learn a lesson, a fable. Like, don't use slaves. Don't indenture people.
Yeah, this is one thing I didn't like. I don't like it. It just seemed weird that they're like, you know what happened to the last person who
got her in a box,
and she's like right behind her in a box. It just was weird to me.
Well, I guess because when we were introduced to him at the end of the Dark World, he just seemed like, I own a museum of curios.
Yeah. But I mean, some of the curios are people
and things, animals, including that dog that the Soviets sent into space. He still got that dog.
Yeah.
But no, I guess because maybe since the same, like, keep saying the movie's so light and everything's played for laughs and all that, and in the same, you didn't get time to think about him at the end of Thor: The Dark World. It's just like, here's the Ether, go put it in your collection. And now we're seeing him here, and he's got all these, you pass like a Dark Elf or a Chitauri as you're going, like they pass them, so you're seeing like he's got like people in these things, but they're not, it's not like a prison, it doesn't feel like a prison, it doesn't feel like they're behind bars, they're just like...
It's like a personal collection.
Yeah, and so maybe it would be easy to not think about the fact that this guy's a maniac. Like, he's like out of his mind.
Yeah,
and
he's
cruel.
Yes.
That's important. And I don't know if that's going to matter later, if he's going to be a more important character, because I think he has control of at least one of the stones now, as of now.
Yeah, and at the end of the Dark World, he was like 1 down, 5 to go.
Yeah.
Like, he was trying to get them.
And the stone that he has was the Reality Stone. Stone? Yeah. Which is arguably going to be one of the more important ones, right? Reality.
I mean, they're all pretty important when you boil it down.
But I'm just wondering, like, are they setting him up to be a villain? Like, it'd be great if Thanos had a menagerie, like had somebody else either on his side or even like
working against them.
Yeah, even a secondary. Like, I'm not on the good guy's side. I just want the stones for my own, and he would be one of the very few other people who would know how to hold the stones. Like, I'm wondering, can Thanos even hold the stones, or can the gauntlet hold the stones? And therefore, anybody wearing the gauntlet can hold the stones.
Possibly,
it's called the Infinity Gauntlet. Like, I'm wondering, if Thanos were to hold all the stones in his hand, would he just explode like anybody else? Do you have to have a gauntlet? Do you have to have a transmission device?
I don't know. Yeah, that's something we're going to find out.
And also, yeah, and so I'm just wondering, like, could there be another person? I know they had that little stinger at the end of Guardians 2 about Adam Warlock. Maybe not.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have time to fucking bring in Adam Warlock as well.
Yeah.
But the Collector has been established. I'm just wondering if they made the point of showing, like, this guy has slaves. This guy's a bad guy, because that's the anybody who has slaves, that's a bad guy.
Yeah.
If they're doing that on purpose to set him up for a later movie where he's going to be a more important antagonist.
Yeah, hopefully that is the case, because I'd like
Benicio del Toro.
I'd like to see Benicio del Toro on screen.
That'd be awesome.
And the Collector is like, he's an interesting character, even though we've only seen him for like little snippets.
Mostly because of Benicio del Toro.
How do you feel about the level of exposition in this movie? Because there's a lot in this scene specifically with Benicio del Toro, and throughout the first act, say, there's a lot as well, I found, on this watching at least. Maybe it's because I know everything already. Like, I know who these characters are, I know their motivations, but it stuck out to me this time that there was a lot of exposition in the movie.
Really? Well, if that's the case, then I'd say it must have been very subtle, because in terms of really overt exposition, all I can think of is the Collector scene.
We got it.
And also, sorry, no, you're wrong. I'm wrong. The scene where they're going into the prison, and these people who've never met each other before and are definitely adversaries because they all just tried to kill each other, are immediately just spilling not only their own personal backstories, but their motivations for each of them. Tell each other why they've tried to catch each other, and then what's going on in the greater galaxy. Like, that did feel a bit weird.
And with Ron, I understand it, because I understand why they need exposition so much.
Yeah.
Especially with, say, Ron and everything, because we have to understand our characters in the film, and all of our characters in the film are crazy space people.
Yes.
We've never seen before in the Marvelverse. And so, I just wanted your take on the amount of exposition.
I guess, I think the point to be made here is that every movie is packed with exposition. It's all just a matter of how well written it is.
Yeah.
Because even demonstration can be exposition. You know, like, that's the screenwriting 101, show don't tell. Like, the more you can show, it's still exposition. You're still giving the audience information that they require to kind of grasp the plot. But
if you show it feels more natural.
Yeah, and if you have to do it in words, it's just about how organically you can work it into the conversation. Because, like, exposition has this negative connotation. Exposition no longer means just all the information that you receive from the movie. It means the bad information. It means the badly done, the poorly handled.
Way explained.
And in terms of, like, poorly handled exposition, I think this movie's okay. Like, you know, I don't think it was bad. The more I think about it, like, I'm thinking of examples as like, but even those examples, you know, like, some of them stick out like sore thumbs. Like, maybe we should have dropped him off with his daddy like we was hired to do. It's like, no, that guy was a jackass. Like, clearly just planting a seed.
Yeah.
But now that I've seen the second movie, it's kind of, it's forgiven. You know, like, it makes a lot more sense, and it works. And I think they wrote this movie the best they possibly could. Honestly, I don't think you could have improved. There was definitely, like, the problem with, like you said, Ronan is a very difficult villain to introduce and to kind of follow, because I don't understand his motivations. I don't know what Kree is.
Without seeing some of the, say, the war, or something that happened to his father. He keeps talking about
my father and my father's father. And it's like, it's
because we didn't see any of that, and we're just told it. It's different.
And also because Ronan is a non-entity. Ronan is a vessel for Thanos. Ronan is our vehicle through to Thanos. Like, he is how we are going to understand Thanos, because that's what Ronan's for. Like, he doesn't matter. You know, he's only exists because we've gotten to the point of the MCU where everybody needs to start being afraid of Thanos.
Yeah.
And so we're going to show this guy. Basically, we're going to show this guy, this incredibly powerful guy with this incredibly powerful ship and an entire army full of people who can hold the Infinity Stone for about 10 seconds before he has to smash it into his hammer because he can't hold it properly.
That's true. But even in his hammer, like, he still can use the power of it. So I think he can still wield an Infinity Stone. Yeah,
I think, though, I don't think anybody can hold it. Like, I'm wondering, because even the giant thing
It was in the staff.
it was in a staff. Like I'm wondering, and also the. I mean, they haven't really dealt with it in the movies, except for the fact that the ether isn't a stone; it's like a cloud.
It's liquid, yeah. It's not liquid when the collector is showing off the infinity stones. It's a stone.
Okay.
So something happened to it to turn it into a liquid gaseous form.
Yeah, well, so I guess what I'm saying is the Infinity Stones in the comics anyway can morph. They can change shape. They can.
Yeah.
Some of them can be like the size of planets or asteroids or whatever. And so, like this giant Galactus type beast could have a larger version of the same Power Stone. It just grows and shrinks as needed. But I wonder, like, do they always have to be, like I was saying about the gauntlet, do they always have to be external?
In something.
Are we going to find out that Thanos is in fact the only person who can touch all of the stones and not die, and not explode or whatever? But anyway, the point is, Ronan doesn't really matter. Like in the overarching scheme of things, he doesn't matter. He is just a sort of gradient, of like the curve against which we are going to understand the power of Thanos.
Yeah.
What were we talking about? I can't remember why I started off on that, about trying to understand Ronan's place in everything.
It was just to talk about how he doesn't really matter in this movie except for the thing for Thanos.
No, I was trying to. No, this is your fault because this was your point, and I was trying to back it. That's so frustrating. Okay, never mind. That's now we understand Ronan. I'm going to be so annoyed when I listen to the edit later, and I'm like, oh, that's the point. You know, I'm just going to record the point that I was trying to make. Oh, my brain. There's something about, I guess, like we just need more practice. But there's something about like once we get going, and there's so many thoughts and trains, like just
new ones keep coming in
directions. Like it's actually really hard to hold this all in your head. I understand why people script these things.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I have a nice thing to say about Ronan's character that stood out to me, sort of a reference to the like Street Fighter movies.
Okay.
Where when Drax is fighting Ronan, and Drax is like, "You killed my family," blah blah blah, and Ronan's like, well, "I don't remember them. I've killed hundreds of families." In Street Fighter, they have a much worse version of that, where it's like, "Yes, for the day this person showed up for you is the day your village was destroyed and your life was ruined. For him, it was Tuesday."
Oh wow, that's pretty fucked up. I also thought of it as like well, I guess from Drax's perspective, it's like a Inigo Montoya moment where he's like, "My name is Drax the Destroyer. You killed my wife and child. Prepare to die." And then he fucking gets owned in the fight.
Yeah,
he has no chance.
No,
he never had a chance.
He punches Ronan a couple times in the ribs, and then Ronan's like, "Oh, okay, you punched me," and then throws him away.
No, but I think he was like hitting him in the ribs, and Ronan was allowing it. But he actually eventually caved the armor in a tiny bit.
Oh, okay,
and Ronan was like, "Oh, he could."
He did something.
Yeah, but yeah, it's sad. Like it's real. And again, it's another. You were so primed to this guy's family was killed. This is a bad guy. He's been established as a bad guy. There's no grey area with Ronan.
Yeah.
Ronan's a fucking bad guy. You don't gotta
He's a maniac.
Yeah, you don't gotta worry about the morals of killing Ronan. So you're 100% behind Drax, and you're so primed from watching every movie ever to be like, this guy is a guy on a quest for vengeance for his family. He's going to take Ronan down, and he's been established throughout the entire movie that he can
like everybody's terrified.
Tear people apart. Like he's the Destroyer.
Yeah.
That's not a name you just pick up. And then he goes up against Ronan and has no chance.
Yeah.
He lands one hit, and only because Ronan kind of wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so sad.
Yeah, and then Ronan throws him into a vat of yellow goo.
Yellow goo.
Yeah.
His only weakness.
And then after that, once he gets out and Groot saves and everything, Drax is humbled.
Yeah.
And is just like, he's like, I lost my family, but I realised that, I made a mistake here. And then Rocket just fucking pushes him and pushes him. It's like, everybody's lost somebody. That's no reason to get everybody killed.
Boo-hoo! My wife and child are dead! That's no reason to get everybody else dead along with you.
The cynical person he is, isn't like comforting to Drax in this moment. He pushes him even further.
Because nobody's ever comforted Rocket. And that's the... Oh, poor Rocket. But yeah, no, he has the... Like... So he has, the Inigo Montoya moment with Ronan, and then, fails. And they have their big space chase battle thing with the
mining ships.
Grip ships. And then that can't go into space, even though they're in space. I don't know.
My only like possible idea for that is that they don't have their own power supply, and they're powered from being inside like
The skull.
and there's like some sort of power transmission going on.
Maybe.
I had a lot of problems with the. Like, I understand the sacrifice scene with Peter saving Gamora, but I had a lot of problems with the scene as itself. Like, those pods could
Like
definitely...
the science of it?
Yeah,
Oh.
those pods could definitely take 2 people.
Yeah, I don't understand why you didn't go get her and bring her back.
Bring her back in the pod and then fly it back. Even if the pod doesn't have air, she's going to be alive for a couple minutes and you have a helmet.
Yeah. Yeah, that was weird. But I guess, yeah, it was just a contrivance to get him back into Yondu's custody.
and to be a scene where he actually does something for someone else.
And then immediately
pats
himself on the back for it. Like, there's just something inside me that felt so heroic. Another example of the right time. Like, he does something dramatic and heroic.
It's given its room.
And then, I'm just going to make fun of myself right here. And then they kind of, like... They get on board Yondu's ship.
Yeah, well, before like what sets up the sacrifice scene is Nebula
kills her.
Kills Gamora.
Yeah,
like she says goodbye, sister, and like Gamora's like, no, if Ronan gets the stone, he'll kill everybody, not everyone. You'll already be dead.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they go into it in the next movie. It's another thing that like this is an example of a series of movies. I can't really call it a franchise because it's part of a larger franchise.
Yeah.
Because franchises
like the mini franchise
Matryoshka dolls now. But like in the next movie where they're like, I mean, he pitted us against each other. I knew I wanted to survive. I know you did too, but I was a kid. I was fighting for my life. Like, she wasn't trying to always beat Nebula. She just did.
Yeah.
And God, every time she lost a fight, he replaced another part of her with a robot. Robot part, like, and that's why she looks the way. Like, what a great character! I hope Nebula gets to kill him. I hope like they take him down and everybody thinks he's dead and they're all walking away and he like, you know, sneakily gets up to leave and she like slips a knife in his bag and is like, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, something like that.
That'd be cool. But yeah, so she kills her sister, which is pretty messed up.
Yeah.
But then again,
yeah, her and Gamora's relationship is sort of the mirror to the Guardian family, like, because they're a family and then the Guardians are a family, so we get the sort of mirroring there where they're like really dysfunctional.
Yeah.
The Guardians are only slightly dysfunctional.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking there for a second about the difference between like the family you're born into and the family that you
choose.
And I know they weren't, like I was going to say, because they're obviously not sisters.
Yeah.
Like they weren't born to Thanos, but then again they were both taken as children, so I would argue that they're as much of a sister as someone that you were born with, because your memories basically start when you're like 6 anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, because that's kind of the overarching thing in the movie is the value of artificial family, like of made family, of chosen family, which I really like. It's like a much more progressive message.
Yeah.
Like then, because family values don't really apply, especially in America where the divorce rate is over 50%. Like that's empirically. It doesn't work.
Yeah. The traditional nuclear family is gone or going.
It's not. Yeah, it's just like it's not workable now. It was then. It's not now. And so this is a movie that reflects that. It's not the first one to do that, but like that they were able to weave it into this fantastical story.
Space opera.
I think is really impressive, and they work as a family for me. Like I like them as a kind of dysfunctional group of misfits who find family in each other, and this is actually. So this is something I wanted to point out. When they do, after that whole thing, so Nebula tries to kill her, and Peter rescues her, and they get aboard Yondu's ship, and they convince Yondu that they have a plan.
Yeah.
When they don't,
Yondu gives them the room to come up with something.
Yeah, he gives Peter the as many chances as he needs to like. I need you to convince them because I can't convince them because I'm already losing them. You need to convince them that it's worth it for me to keep you around.
Yeah.
And he does, and has like 12% of a plan. And they have this round table discussion where Peter doesn't have a plan, but he's like, the 5 of us need to figure something out because the galaxy's at stake. He's like, well, why do you want to save the galaxy? Because I'm one of the idiots who lives there.
Yeah, all my stuff is there.
And they have this moment that had occurred to me the Avengers never had. They have a moment where they all sit down together, talk about their own individual motivations going into this. Like Drax kind of apologizes for like putting everyone in jeopardy because all he wanted was revenge, Gamora recognizes that, like she said earlier in the movie, the nightmares ahead of me are nothing compared, or dreams compared to what came before. Like, there's nothing in my past, and I've been fighting my whole life. I'd be happy to die with friends. You know, they all kind of give where they're coming from and accept
and how they've changed over the course of the movie.
Yeah, and then sort of accept the mantle that Peter's offering them, which is that he didn't say it, but we need to become the Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, we need to step up here because we are in a very unique and time-sensitive position to do something about this. And it's perfect because in the whole movie, like we said, like the first 3/4 of the movie, it's all just pure self-interest. It's all, everybody's just out for themselves, and their rationalization for that is that, like, nobody's looking out for me, you know, like, nobody's ever had my back, nobody gives a shit about me, and so Peter offers them the chance to break that cycle. So this is the universe giving us a chance to give a shit. We can give a shit. We can be the example of something that gives a shit, you know? And so they all, like, stand up and accept the responsibility. And, like, Rocket undercuts it, but it's hilarious and it's cute and it works for what they are. And it's something that the Avengers never had. Like, the Avengers were forced into it. They were kind of like, they were strong-armed first by Nick Fury, and then when that didn't work, his manipulation did, because they ultimately...
Even with his manipulation, it wasn't them all. It was only, like, 2 or 3 of them on the ship at the time.
Yeah,
it was really just, I think, Cap and Iron Man. Because Thor was gone, Hulk was gone, Widow and Hawkeye were looking after each other.
Yeah, and they would have been in anyway. Yeah, I guess it's you get that scene in Age of Ultron where they are all sitting around trying to lift the hammer, and it's cute, and they seem like friends, but they don't seem like family the way that the Guardians seem like family. Yeah, and it's just something, like, it's not important. Like, it just occurred to me watching this because the Guardians are essentially the sort of cosmic version of the Avengers. Yeah, and it's interesting that with the like you said, the grandiosity of the story, like the epic scale, they're traveling distances the Avengers as a group have never gone, except maybe Thor. Like, they've never gone that far, and yet it feels more intimate. They feel more like a family, like a close knit thing than the Avengers ever have. Yeah, and I don't know. It's just I'm not sure what point I'm trying to make. It's just something I noticed, and it's that specifically that they had this scene where they chose this. Yeah, the Avengers never chose it.
Yeah, they were all
thrust upon them, and that's a big part of Tony's arc in particular, where he's like, I'm not a soldier. This isn't my duty, you know. Like, I chose to do something about what I chose to take responsibility for myself. Yeah. My company was doing bad things, and I stepped up to do something about that. Now you're telling me I got to defend the world from aliens? You know, I got to be throwing nukes into wormholes. Like, it's I don't know. It's just odd that, like, they introduced that thing of, like, not everybody is here because they want to be here. Yeah. You know, like, Cap wants to do what's right. Hulk just feels like he has to, you know, like, I have to direct this destructive impulse somewhere.
In a good direction, if I can.
They've never had a conversation where they sat down with each other and kind of explained, like, here's where I'm coming from and I want to be an Avenger, you know?
Yes.
It's I don't know. I like it, is what I'm saying. Like, I like it when it happens in
this movie. It was a really, really good scene. Watching it the day after watching Winter Soldier, we see that Peter Quill is not as effortlessly inspiring as Captain America, where he gives his speech and then at the end of it he's like, or I don't know, like he feels like he's failed the speech until Gamora gets up and is like, no, I'd happy die with my friends. And like, so he thought he failed in his speech of bolstering everybody up even then, and it was a really good scene.
Yeah, it's real. It feels organic. Yeah. Like, they become heroes in a very naturalistic way. Yeah. Because they 100% spend the entire movie being pirates, and then are given the opportunity to do something better and have a conversation about it like fucking adults, and actually decide in a very organic way, we should do this. Like, we've got to stop only looking out for ourselves. And it's just a really nice scene. Like, it's, and
then we get their terrible 12% of a plan to stop Ronan and the Dark Aster.
Crash into his ship and run this chest-mounted
the Hadron Enforcer
cannon into his. I mean, I like it. Like, they like it's just a cool scene, you know. They fire all this chaff and then dive down, and like they're clever about it. They don't just go at him.
Yeah.
And then when it looks like they're going to be overwhelmed, which you from the start you were like, they're going to be overwhelmed.
Yeah, the Dark Aster is huge.
Yeah. Then the Nova Corps show up, and it's like just great beats of like you know, everybody's stepping up just when
and even like it's like you get that of they're going to die, and then the heroic save by the Nova Corps, and then you have that heroic save, and you get that quip. Oh, they got my dick message.
Yeah. And, you know, they get aboard, and then here's another example of a Phase 2 movie taking the time in the third act to slow things down, even in the middle of a life or death
action
scene. Fate of the Galaxy is at stake action scene. They like bust into the ship, and they go through one of these crazy impractical doors.
Yeah.
And it's like really dark, and so Groot reveals his other power he has, which is I can create little light motes that'll float around.
Little fireflies.
Yeah. And the action slows down for a minute, and everybody gets to talk a little bit about, you know, and Drax sort of finally comes around to like, you know what, you guys are my family.
Yeah.
You know,
you dumb rodent, you are my friend.
Yeah. You dumb tree. You green whore. And then like Nebula shows up, and they kind of have they're about to have their final fight, and then Drax blows the shit out of her. Yeah. But she's not dead, and Gamora has to go fight her.
Yeah. And we get that re-putting together scene.
Oh, it's so cool.
Real gross and awesome.
Yeah. And they all kind of like they get it. It's just weird. I can't think of another example except maybe Civil War, when they all arrive at Zemo's trap, like that they get that moment to let's just talk about this. I can't think of another example of a kind of third act slowdown in the midst of the action scene. Yeah. Just to remind everybody what we're doing here. You know, like it's cool. I like it.
Yeah.
And I also like that when they get to their whole thing, they have like, it's crazy. It's got like a 0% chance of working, but they have a plan. Like they're not just like busting on the ship and we're going to try and take down Ronan any way we can. They're like, we're going to bust onto this ship. Gamora, because she knows the ship is going to like
get us into the bridge,
get the doors open, and we are just going to sprint in there and fire immediately. And that's exactly what they do. They sprint in there. They don't like make a quip. They don't like try to monologue them. There's nothing. They just get on the bridge, fire at them straight away, and it doesn't work. But like, I like that their plan was to get on here and do this, and nothing gets in the way of the plan. Right?
They pull out their plan. We get to see Groot being a monster, like the true like savagery of that is in Groot if he wasn't so gentle and kind-hearted.
I went straight over that.
Where they had their fight with all the Necro guys and they win, and then like more Necro guys come out, and Groot just spears like 8 of them,
Groot kebab,
and kills everybody else,
and just smashes them all against the wall. This movie has a weird relationship with violence because like that is unbelievably violent.
Yeah,
he plays it in such a cute way, and as he's doing it, Drax is like like Peter turns to Drax like, what the fuck, and Drax is like, isn't this cool?
Well, Drax just laughs when in violence.
But then like Groot turns around and is like, I did good.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird. Like it's
like a barely contained monster that you're just glad likes you.
Is on your side. Yeah, it's ultra violence. Like it comes across really.
If they were people and not necro people.
Yeah.
It would have been gruesome.
It would have been grotesque and like way over the top, but it works because there's no blood because this is PG-13.
Yeah.
And then so they try to blow him up, it doesn't work, and then Rocket kills Drax, which is his backup plan.
Yeah. Rocket just flies into
like Drax is literally face to like nose to nose with Ronan because Ronan's about to break his neck or whatever, and Drax crashes his ship into Ronan.
Yeah. So when their gun doesn't work, Drax first one to respond. He's like, I gotta kill Ronan now.
Yeah, I'm gonna go at him.
Yeah, I'm the only one who can
I have knives this time.
Yeah, and he just sprints at him, and Ronan just like grabs him.
Yeah, and then Ronan crashes. Rocket crashes into them and has to kill Drax. Like I don't understand how he could have not, except for the fact that it's a movie. So Drax gets away.
Yeah.
Ronan, I guess, is down enough that they get a moment to themselves.
Yeah. So we get 2 fake out deaths of Ronan. The first is when they get shot, which I guess you're meant to think is not really going to work, obviously.
Yeah.
And he gets back up almost immediately. But then we get this, and the ship crashes in, and it slows down again, and we get this. Oh, Ronan isn't there. You don't see him anywhere. So you're like, maybe they did take him out, and it's all going to end with them sacrificing themselves as the ship crashes in. But then Groot pulls everyone together and grows a big sphere of branches and light, and Rocket wakes up from his crash and gets really emotional again because Groot's. What we learn is Groot's going to sacrifice himself by doing this because Rocket's like, no, you'll die. and then we crash into the ground, but everybody's okay except for Groot, who's literally just a pile of sticks around them.
Yeah. That was real.
Which, it's sad, this moment.
It's really sad. Like I said, this movie is full of sadness. It's like a Captain America movie. It's just pure tragedy.
Yeah, and then...
and also, just because I know everybody listening to this has seen the movie and knows that Groot's not dead because we have this little post-credit scene of the little baby Groot dancing.
Yeah.
That's not Groot. That's not the Groot that we know from the movie.
Yeah, according to James Gunn.
James Gunn has said Groot died, and whatever way that his species reproduces, like I guess...
Or works,
like they, Rocket took a sapling and planted it. That's a Groot. That's of the species that Groot is of, but Groot, as we know him, is dead. He's gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
This is a new Groot.
He actually sacrificed himself.
It actually means a lot more to me now that I know that. Because that was another example of that, every Marvel movie ends with X is dead, but not really.
Yeah.
But he is, and I know it's still kind of a cop out because it's not Groot, but Groot.
Yeah.
But still, that's something,
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, and then once they're down, we get the...
Also, sorry, I just wanted to point out that when he says we are Groot, since this new Groot is a different Groot, that could mean something different. Like, I know what the movie's trying to tell us it means is that
we're
Groot is family, we're all a family. It could also mean that, I am Legion. You can't kill me.
Possibly, yeah.
It's not what it means, but it's something that occurred to me when I heard, when I read James.
So it's surprising how much emotion they can get out of just changing one word from I to we for Groot. It was pretty impressive.
It's great writing. This script is an exercise in good writing. And then and so then he's not dead. So they crash on the ground,
not dead.
And Ronan, and it's a real kind of, you feel how they feel, like, oh, for God's sake,
just why are you dying?
And they have the kind of they can't beat him. So he's doing his big, I'm going to cure the
he's grandstanding like Ronan does.
And it kind of pans down, and Peter's singing. So Peter's song is playing on his little
his radio
player.
It survived.
That's the only thing that survived
and started playing.
The Milano is 2-dimensional at this point, but the only thing that survived in 3 dimensions is his tape player, and it's playing "Ooh Child" by whoever it's by. And he's singing it to Thanos and dancing, and he's distracting Thanos while they fix
not Thanos.
Oh, sorry, Ronan. Yeah,
Ronan.
He's distracting him while they fix the Hadron Enforcer.
Yeah. Which
they've now figured out the right thing to do is shoot the hammer.
Shoot the hammer.
Get the rock out of the hammer, and then Peter grabs it. And oh my God, this is probably one of my favorite finales of a Marvel movie. Which he grabs the stone and it immediately starts tearing his body apart. He's holding onto it, and it's shaking, but you can see seams are appearing on
his skin is almost flaking off, and these purple cracks are crawling everywhere.
He's literally about to explode from the inside out. And Gamora, so a lot of things happen in the scene, but let's just go through what physically happens. Gamora reaches out to him
and says, take my hand,
and because she wants to share the power. And then when they do that, Drax puts his hand on Peter's shoulder, and then Rocket reaches over with his tiny little hand and grabs Drax's finger.
Yeah.
And they're all sharing the power. And they use that kind of... They've accepted their roles as Guardians of the Galaxy. Everybody's arc is coming to a close. Everybody has finally chosen a selfless act for the first time.
Yeah, even if it does kill them all, they'll be able to stop Ronan.
And they do. And they beat him because they're the Guardians of the Galaxy.
They explode him.
But then also what's happening here is, everybody... Drax finally has closure. Rocket finally is part of the group.
Yeah.
Gamora finally has a family, a real family.
Yeah.
And Peter finally gets closure on his mom, because when Gamora's reaching out to him, she says his mom's last words, and it's not it doesn't feel shoehorned, it doesn't feel fake. That's what his mom said, because his mom was reaching her hand out to him, and she knew she was dying, and she wanted him to take his hand, and Gamora can see that Peter's dying, and she wants to help, and she wants to take his hand, so she says, take my hand, and he's immediately has PTSD, goes straight back to that memory of his mom, looks over, and it's literally his mom in a galaxy,
some
in a
sort
cosmic,
of crazy cosmic world.
He's seeing, I guess the Infinity Stone is showing him the shape of the galaxy, and then all he can focus on is his dead mom, and he finally gets closure on that moment, that one time that he had an opportunity
and he
didn't take it, and so he gets to take it now, and Peter gets closure. Everybody in the same instant, with the same acts, with one single act of noble sacrifice, not only do they all not only does the Guardians of the Galaxy as a group of kind of self-interested pirates ascend, like transcend themselves, like become something selfless and good, like moral good. Each character in that same instant
gets the same.
Gets like individual closure for their arcs.
Yeah.
That's incredible storytelling. Oh my god, that's just great writing. Like, oh, that's just so good. Because as well, so after that, so they all kind of have this moment together where they physically become a family. They become one thing. Like they become a family, and then afterwards, all of their relationships have completely changed. Like Gamora is so much looser when Peter produces the second orb, and she just like laughs. Like that's the first time she's laughed. Like just
I think so, yeah.
Friendly, happy laugh. And then when Drax sees that Rocket's sad, he doesn't say something dumb or
yeah. Oh man, this scene, he's like Rocket again,
just holding a twig,
crying, and Drax goes over and just like reaches out tentatively, puts his hand on his head. Rocket sort of flinches at first, but then accepts it.
And it's like they've all grown.
Yeah.
Like this movie, and all these characters who we've never even heard of before, who are not like. They're not well-known Marvel properties.
No, they are not.
Have all been introduced to us as one thing. They've gone through an entire character arc, changed, grown, become something else, and then become more than the sum of their parts because they're now the Guardians of the Galaxy, and all achieved personal closure on each of their specific character arcs in one movie. It's only like 100 minutes long. It's fucking crazy. How did he do this?
Yeah. All while doing it with an amazing soundtrack.
Oh.
Perfect comedy.
We haven't even talked about how expertly timed and well chosen every single track in this movie is. Like, oh wow!
Especially right here at the end, where Peter is opening the second box.
So this scene still this scene makes me well up. Like whenever I watch this, and he's reading his outlaw name is his pet name from his mom.
Yeah.
And he's reading the letter that he's been holding on to for 27 years. And he's reading this letter. Her goodbye letter and the present that she gave him, which was another. Awesome, of course, it's another tape. It's like the only thing it could have been, and it's the most perfect thing. And then, of course, the first song is "Ain't No Mountain High Enough."
Yeah. And so we get this song starts playing, and
we get a secondary character montage.
Yeah, Peter's given his moments. It lingers on him for a second, and Gamora comes over and starts dancing
a little bit
to cheer him up a little. And then we get the secondary character montage. We get to see
John C. Reilly and his family.
Yeah, his family. Yeah. Oh, it was perfect. Especially because he was like, I had a family. They're alive because of you.
Yeah.
It really hits home.
And then it goes to Peter's other family, which Yondu and whatnot, and Yondu opening the thing, and he knew it wasn't in there. He knew Peter hadn't been finished.
And it was a troll for his collection.
His collection of he's got all these little dolls and stuff. Oh, it's great little. That's a great. Not only is that a great little quirk for his character to have, but it added so much to this moment because Peter gave him something thoughtful.
Yeah.
And he just and everybody's kind of partying around him, and he opens it, and Peter's betrayed us, and he's like, well, that's fine. I knew he would have. I love that guy. I love that kid. There's a tremendous love for Peter, which we find out is actually paternal affection in the next movie. He's literally considers Peter his son. Yeah. Wow. I love that movie so much.
It is a good movie.
His mom named him Star-Lord. Oh, it's so nice.
Yeah, my only complaint about the movie is that the post-credit scenes don't really add anything.
It's just too perfect. What was it? It was
we get the group dancing.
We
get group dancing, which it's a pretty hilarious scene the first time you see it. But then we get the Howard the Duck thing, which I see why I understand why they put it in there, but doesn't add anything or tease anything like all of the other ones have so far.
I guess. Well, the only thing it gives you is that the collector survived.
Yeah,
because we didn't know.
That's true. Yeah,
and also, if the collector hadn't survived, the question of where's the ether would have been important.
That's true.
But yeah, and also the fact that so this movie sort of closed with a secondary character montage, and it occurred to me. So we made a big point about in the last movie that this is the first time they've done this. In Winter Soldier, they did a secondary character montage, and it just occurred to me, when I was watching this, both the first two examples of secondary character montages for completely different reasons, both used like hit 70s songs in movies that are in the 21st century. Like. But both totally make sense because one is for the guy who missed the 70s and one is for a guy who had the 70s but then left Earth. That's all he has. So that was a nice. Also, probably not intentional, but it's kind of a cool thing.
Yeah.
Do you do anything else to?
No, not really. Gone through pretty much everything I wanted to talk about.
I really like the movie.
Yeah.
So, tune in. Well, next week. I mean,
depending on when we release these.
We'll release them in different order. Yeah, but tune in next week for the next movie, which I don't know what it is.
Is it Ultron?
It might be Ultron.
Yeah, it might be Age of Ultron.
All right. This has been the Saturated Industry Podcast.
I've been Steve.
I've been Danny. Goodbye.